Every Canadian who has ever worked faces the same question eventually. When should you start collecting the Canada Pension Plan? The answer is not the same for everyone. But the math behind it is fixed, published, and knowable. That's what this video breaks down. CPP allows you to start your retirement pension anytime between age 60 and age 70. Age 65 is the standard age. It's the baseline the government uses to calculate everything else. If you start earlier than 65, your monthly payment is permanently reduced. If you start later than 65, your monthly payment is permanently increased. There is no penalty-free way to undo this choice later. Once you start CPP, the adjustment locks in for life. Starting before 65 reduces your pension by 0.6% for every month before your 65th birthday. That works out to 7.2% per year. If you start at exactly age 60, that's 60 months early, the reduction is 36% permanently. Starting after 65 increases your pension by 0.7% for every month you wait, up to age 70. That's 8.4% per year. If you wait until exactly age 70, that's 60 months late. The increase is 42%, permanently. There is no additional benefit to waiting past age 70. The clock stops there. If you haven't applied by 70, you're simply leaving money unclaimed with no further growth. Say your calculated CPP entitlement at age 65 would be $1,000 a month. Start at 60, and you'd receive about $640 a month. That's a difference of $4,320 a year for the rest of your life, compared to waiting for 65. Start at 70, and you'd receive about $1,420 a month. That's a difference of $5,040 a year, more than the age 65 amount. The gap between starting at 60 versus 70 on this same $1,000 baseline is roughly $780 a month, or over $9,000 a year. Multiply that by 20 or 30 years of retirement, and the choice clearly matters. For 2026, the maximum monthly CPP retirement pension at age 65 is approximately $1,507. But that number is only for people who contributed at or above the maximum pensionable earnings for most of their working life. The average CPP payment is significantly lower, closer to $850 a month. Your own number depends entirely on your personal contribution history. You can check your specific estimate through your MyService Canada account online. CPP isn't a flat payment. It's based on your entire contributory period, generally from age 18 until you start your pension. It compares your earnings each year to the year's maximum pensionable earnings, a limit set by the federal government that changes annually. In 2026, that limit is $74,600. The program is designed to replace a portion of your average lifetime earnings. With the CPP enhancement that has been phasing in since 2019, that replacement rate is gradually rising toward one-third of your pre-retirement income, up from the original one-quarter. The plan also has built-in protections. Certain low-earning years, like time spent raising young children, may be automatically excluded from the calculation so they don't drag down your average. Taking CPP at 60 makes sense for some people, and it's not automatically a bad decision. If you've stopped working and need income now, an immediate payment, even a reduced one, may matter more than a larger payment decades from now. If your health or family history suggests a shorter life expectancy, starting early can mean collecting more total dollars over your lifetime, even at the reduced rate. If you plan to invest the CPP payments rather than spend them, starting early gives your money more years to potentially grow, though this depends entirely on investment performance and carries risk. Age 65 remains the most common starting point because it's the reference point everyone understands. It requires no penalty and no bonus. For people who are retiring around that age anyway and don't have a strong reason to move in either direction, it's the simplest, most neutral choice. Delaying to 70 tends to benefit people who expect to live longer than average, who have other income sources to bridge the gap between 65 and 70, or who are still working and don't need the money yet. Because CPP is a guaranteed, inflation-adjusted payment for life, a larger CPP check can also act as longevity insurance. It protects against the risk of outliving your savings, since it keeps paying no matter how long you live. The break-even point between starting at 60 and starting at 70 typically falls in your late 70s to early 80s, depending on your specific numbers. If you live past that break-even age, delaying pays off in total lifetime income. If you don't, starting earlier pays off. Nobody knows their own life expectancy in advance. This is exactly why the decision is personal, not universal. A generic always wait or always take it early recommendation ignores this uncertainty. You do not have to stop working to start collecting CPP, and you don't have to start CPP just because you've retired. These are two separate decisions. Some people keep working while collecting a reduced CPP payment. Others delay CPP well past retirement to maximize the eventual amount. If you're under 65 and still working while collecting CPP, you're also required to keep contributing to the plan, which can increase your future post-retirement benefit. If you're widowed, CPP survivor benefit rules change depending on whether you're already collecting your own retirement pension. If you are, the two amounts don't simply add together. There's a combined calculation, and the total is capped at the maximum retirement pension for that year. This is a detail many people don't discover until it directly affects them, so it's worth understanding ahead of time if it applies to your situation. CPP applications can be submitted up to 11 months before you want payments to begin. Processing takes time. Waiting until the month you turn 60, 65, or 70 to apply can delay your first payment. Planning ahead avoids unnecessary gaps in income. There is no single correct age to start CPP for every Canadian, but there are a few practical steps everyone can take. First, get your personalized CPP estimate through My Service Canada account. Generic averages don't reflect your actual contribution history. Second, consider your health, family longevity, and other retirement income sources together, not CPP in isolation. Third, remember that the decision is permanent. Once monthly payments begin, the reduction or increase doesn't change, even if your circumstances do. Fourth, if you're unsure, a licensed financial advisor can run the specific break-even math using your real numbers, not a hypothetical example like the one used in this video. CPP is one part of a larger retirement picture that usually includes old age security, workplace pensions, and personal savings. The age you choose to start it can shift your household income by tens of thousands of dollars over a full retirement, which is exactly why it deserves more thought than a quick guess. The right age isn't about finding a universal answer. It's about matching the rules to your own health, your own finances, and your own plans for the years ahead. Speaking of old age security, that program has its own separate rules, its own separate age options, and its own separate trade-offs, some of which interact directly with CPP timing. That's a decision that deserves its own full breakdown, and it's exactly what we're covering next.